Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, all my beautiful friends from all across the vast reaches of the internet. I hope each and every single one of you is doing absolutely fantastical on this fine Tuesday morning or whatever you happen to be listening to this podcast episode, whether that be morning, evening, or into the deepest, darkest depths of the night, the Marianas Trenches of the night. You're deep in the trenches of this night. Welcome to the Reddit Asks Us podcast, the podcast where we read and react to comments from r/Ask Reddit. I am your host, Luke Dick. Now remember, if you're listening to this podcast, before we get into deep into any reading or any reacting, if you're listening to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever else you get your podcasts, please leave us a rating and also leave us a review. It helps out the show so much. Remember, you can actually comment on this week's episode by going to the description of the episode in Spotify, and you can go ahead and answer the question or just comment anything down below you really feel like you want to. And I'll read those comments out loud on the next week's following episode. We also have a subreddit, so please go ahead and join our subreddit, r/Reddit Asks Us on Reddit, where there's a new mega thread posted every week, and you can post whatever you want in there, and I will also try to read those out. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I'm forgetting here. I don't think so. We also do a poll and a would you rather every single week, so we'll read out the results of the poll. I had a good way of doing it last week, so I think I read the poll first. Because a lot of people talk about the polls in the comments, so I feel like I might as well read the results of the poll first. I think this one was a pretty interesting one. So this would you rather was, would you rather have to wear socks every time you're in a pool or always have to walk bare feet on gravel? This is an interesting one because I feel like it depends on where you spend your time as an adult. To be honest, I actually don't remember the last time I was in a pool. Like I'm never, once you turn once you graduate high school, like when are you ever in a pool? Like, I don't know, in what situation would I ever be, like I've swam in the ocean or in a lake, but a pool? I'm not even that great of a swimmer. Like, why would I want to go to a pool? I have no good reason to be like me and my friends. Like, we're not just gonna be like, you know what I could use right now on this Thursday? I could just take a dip in the pool right now. I feel like you guys really want to just jump in a body of chlorinated water. You guys ever feel like just doing that? Just taking a dive and just some friggin' just a big hole in the ground filled with water. And get all wet and then have to dry off afterwards and then take a shower after because you smell like chlorine. Do you guys ever want to do that? No, fuck no. That sounds like the dumbest idea ever. Why would I ever want to do something like that? I'm not a swimmer. I don't, the only reason why I would go is, like I said, ocean maybe, swimming in the ocean, you go to the beach, or, because I currently live on the East Coast right now, it's fun, or going to the lake with the boys and trying to wake surf or doing something fun, like my boys back in Sass. Shout out to the Sass boys. But yeah, I don't know. Whatever. But barefoot on gravel. Then again, if you're a city boy, when are you ever gonna be on gravel? When are you ever outside enough to be on dirt or gravel? And you always have to walk in bare feet on dirt and gravel. I guess maybe if you're in a park potentially is a place where a lot of people go. But again, I'm not sure. But anyways, we had an interesting split on this one. We had a 57% win for socks in the pool. Socks in the pool. So I feel like that makes sense to me. I feel like as adults, the general pop is in pools less than they're on dirt or gravel, which is interesting. I feel like there's a scientific, inquiry to be discovered here. I feel like we should write a study about this, is how often are adults more, how much more often are adults on gravel than in pools? I feel like we'd find some quite fascinating information there. Maybe we would uncover some secrets about the universe and about human psychology and behavior if we really started to nail down the important questions. We've researched, Sigmund Freud, thanks. We've researched all of these psychological dispositions already, or psychological mental illnesses and conditions. We are aware of, sociopathy, narcissistic personality disorder, bipolar disorder, depression, anxiety. let's get to the real meat of the matter, okay? Socks in the pool or bare feet on gravel? What's the verdict, okay? We're starting to see some early trends here, so I don't know what the betting odds are on this, and I don't even know how betting odds work, but I'm taking the so okay, so now you guys know my opinion on this. So we're gonna read out the comments from last week. So first one comes from Phil Savannah. Just so you know, you can give a bone marrow transplant when you're alive. Yeah, that was related to like something. It was like, what was the question? So sorry, last week's question was what behavior is legal but totally psycho, and one of the comments was to pull out of a bone marrow transplant, or like I guess probably like pulling out of really any transplant like last minute is kind of shitty to do. But yeah, I was under the impression that most people get bone marrow transplants if they're already dead, but no, that's apparently not the case. You do that shit when you're alive, which I got to imagine probably feels great. I wonder what that feels like, actually, to be honest. Like getting your bone, because like I've donated blood, and which actually I need to go and do again soon. But after you donate blood, you feel a little bit like weak and tired. But bone marrow, I feel like, damn, how do you feel after donating your bone marrow? That's got to be like, are you feeling like jello or something? Like, do your bones just get all loose and you start feeling like, damn, my bones are really loose today. I feel like I could go ahead and break a couple bones today or something. I wonder. Also, and this was related to the psychopath behavior that I said I do. And Phil says, I think it's crazy that you get dressed in the bathroom, go back to your room, and then come back to brush your teeth. True psycho behavior. Why not just brush your teeth before the shower? Also, I want to get out of that hot room as soon as possible. Fair enough. Although I thought about this, so my morning routine is generally on like normal days and when I'm not, doing my summer job and working, because my schedule is all over the place. But when I have a normal schedule, generally speaking, I go to the gym first thing in the morning, then I come back, eat breakfast, take a shower, then brush my teeth. But I brush my teeth after I take my shower, so I don't leave my room and then leave the bathroom, go to my room, and then come back and take a shower, unless it depends on when I'm eating breakfast. But generally I do it right after I shower. But because I go outside to inside, baby. Outside to inside, I'm cleaning that, I'm cleaning the becheeks before I'm cleaning the teeths. But, yeah, fair enough. I know a lot of people say, like, oh, so you're, like, in there while it's all foggy and stuff, and I'm like, and it's, like, super hot and steamy. I'm like, I guess. And then you gotta put on your clothes all humid and sweating. I'm like, maybe I didn't think this out very well. And then Phil says, for the answer to the question, it's the people that clap when a plane lands. Please stop. Yeah, I don't know, like, if there was, like, a lot of turbulence or it was really freaky, maybe I can understand. I've been on planes where it's like, wow, the turbulence is really bad. But even still, I don't think turbulence has, like, ever caused a plane crash. Turbulence is literally just changes in the density of the air, isn't it? It's, like, pockets of air that are, like, less dense than the other air, so then you fall in those pockets, but it doesn't ever cause like a plane crash. And then Phil says, socks in the pool, but I've never hated an answer as much as that. Gravel is death. Well, there you go. See, people were complaining that the Would You Rathers were not spicy or controversial enough. So I had to up the stakes here, folks. I'm trying to make you choose. All right. Shit sandwich or a piss smoothie, okay? Vortex, next comment comes from Vortex. Thanks for commenting, Vortex. People that put the toilet paper on the wrong side. Yes, true. And, like, don't care about it. That is truly insane behavior. Because you also don't give a shit about yourself. All right? Clearly. Because you have to use that shit too. And then also, you don't give a shit about other people. You're like, I'm going to not only ruin my life, but I'm going to ruin the lives of other people. If I'm going down, everyone else is going down with me. It's unfortunate, but I guess that's the world we live in. And then I choose walking on gravel because over time your feet will build up a layer of dead skin and would build resistance, so I would be fine. Maybe, potentially, or you could get a nasty infection and die from that, so who knows. But yeah, I guess you're trying to go for the like Amazonian wide-footed approach here. And if you guys don't know what that is, look at dude. Freaking look at dude. Yeah, I'm just kidding. And the last one comes from, I think this is the Green Changeling, but I think you might have changed your username on unless it's not, but I think it's a Green Changeling because I think your profile picture is still the same, but maybe not. But this one comes from Siftyland. 500 characters wasn't enough, so posting here. I don't expect you to read the last paragraph out loud. First off, neither of your self-confessed habits account for this one, Luke. Both seem completely reasonable to me. However, your habit of going onto weird tangents on the other hand, I'm telling you, man, this is just what this podcast is. If you come into this podcast expecting like an AI voice just reading the comments, bro, you are gravely mistaken. I've had people used to comment on my YouTube channel be like, "What the hell is this? You're spending way too much time talking about the reading and the prompts." It's like, bro, like, and then you're just like, where just make an AI voice read them. I thought this was an AI voice. Since when were we going and promoting AI over human beings? Since when were we rooting for the other guy? Like actively rooting for the other guy. Yeah, you know what? I actually fucking hate creativity and originality. I fucking hate that shit. I hate people actually, taking time out of their day to like create something and try to make it better and unique. Fucking can't stand that shit. Shit's fucking whack as hell, bro. You know what? I'd rather have a fucking computer server make it for me, actually. If you ever think about that, maybe. Have you ever thought about making this completely fucking useless and wasteful? Maybe. Have you ever thought about just taking all the personality out of it completely? And just like doing it something super basic and boring that's on like every Instagram reel, maybe? How about that? Which is, a fair approach. I mean, if people don't like my sense of humor or comedy, just don't fucking listen to the show. It's just find a different fucking show. There's plenty of Reddit threads that are like 3 hours long of AI voices reading them. Why are you complaining? I find that just so funny. You took the time out to complain that this wasn't AI. Holy shit, bro. We know who's playing for the other team, man. We know who's on the other side. We know who's fighting for Skynet. All right? That's like voting for the Terminator. That's like watching the Terminator and getting upset that the humans won. Like, what? Being like, fuck, man. I thought they were going to kill these stupid fucking human pests. It's like watching The Matrix and being like, damn it. I thought Neo was going to fucking die, bro. They didn't fucking kill this guy? Stuff him back in his little fucking egg pod, bro. Stuff him back in his little egg pod where he can eat up all his slop like he's supposed to. Let these alien AI overlords just come on and just get it over with. Like, we don't want this. It's like, geez. Okay, bro. Didn't know we were playing for the other team on this one. For the would you rather, I'm going to go with socks in the pool, though walking on barefoot on gravel is something I have voluntarily done before. Why? Kind of depends on the gravel, really. I almost thought there weren't any loopholes, but then I started to wonder how much of a sock you can remove. No, I'm not. No. I'm not this. You can't get away from this. And then lastly, I'm going to answer, would you rather? May have not. Yes, I know this is the Green Changeling now because you did commit a fallacy. Anyways, a lot of this is the Green Changeling trying to hide because they know they lost, so they changed their username. So there you go. Caught you red frickin' handed. Caught you green frickin' handed. But the rest of the comment is just Green Changeling trying to justify themselves about this. It ain't gonna happen. Okay, it ain't gonna happen. This ain't the game that you can play, brother. Wait till you hear this week's Would You Rather. So this week's Would You Rather is, would you rather be, this is kind of a moral one a bit, folks. Would you rather be the first zombie or the last human? So stew on that one for a while. Would you rather be the person who infects everybody with the disease, or, survive the whole thing, but it's just you? All right, you're Tom Cruise no, Tom Cruise? What the fuck am I talking about? Tom Hanks. Tom Cruise in Castaway. He just starts doing backflips and shit. There's no reason. He's just bored. Tom Hanks in Castaway. So anyways, we're going to cap that off, and we're going to go into this week's episode, but we will first take a little bit of a break. Welcome back, everybody, to this week's episode of the Reddit Asks Us podcast. So, as you can tell from the episode's title, what is something a toxic coworker did that made the whole office go silent? So, I mean, this is obviously a very specific question, but, you know, comment whatever your comment is down below. Maybe it's a reaction to one of these stories, or maybe it's just a personal story you have yourself. But yeah, there's some interesting ones here. First one comes from, I don't think I've ever actually no, I wasn't there for this, but I did used to work at a retail store, and one of the days that I was off, one of our supervisor manager people called a customer the C word. So everyone was pretty shocked around that when they heard it, and she didn't last too much longer after that. You know, fortunately or unfortunately, you know, when you go around calling customers the C word, it you know, doesn't really bode too well for customer service scores, you know, at the end of the term when the higher ups come in and they're talking to us about all this, you know, customer experience stuff. Doesn't really make us look too good. It's not a very welcoming, you know, engaging, high energy. Well, it might be high energy, but not the energy you want. All right, so first one comes from Mischief Car 28. We were in the woman's bathroom in the morning, and a coworker walked in after extended maternity leave. Everyone greeted her and asked her how her baby was. She was smiling at first, but as soon as we mentioned her baby, her face fell. She went a bit pale and said it died. Wow, okay. Before anyone could say anything, another woman right in front of her replied with, "My baby is gorgeous. She's just 4 months." And she laughs beautifully. Really? You had to throw that in there? You had to throw the laughs beautifully, by the way? It's just like, that's a double dunk. You're doing the, by the way, my baby is just fine. I don't know what shitty genetics you've got, but my baby is alive and well. But not only is she alive and well, she freaking smiles so beautifully. You ever seen Barack Obama smile? Yeah, that's literally my baby, okay? She's got that Barack Obama ear to ear, full of teeth. She's literally a newborn. She has teeth. She was born with her full adult teeth, actually, by the way, which is, you know, I don't know about you guys, but my baby is a chomper, okay? They can chomp down on anything, literally anything. But not only that, the laugh is just, it's infectious. So I don't know, you know, I don't know why you guys all aren't laughing, because my baby's laugh is infectious. I've shown you all the video today, and none of you guys had laughed, okay? My baby's laughing, and I just don't understand why you're not matching that energy, because clearly you are all dry, humorless pieces of human garbage. It's like, no, I think it's just because our coworker just told us she had a miscarriage. And then on top of her miscarriage, you just started going around and dunking on her for her miscarriage. So I don't really care how beautiful or funny or, you know, just happy-go-lucky your baby is. I'm probably not going to root for you, considering the fact that you that you are raising a child that is, you know, the parent of that child is someone who is dunking on someone for his baby's dying. Okay? That's not, I don't know, like, I don't know what you know about other people, but that's generally not how you, like, bring up the crowd. You know, if people just heard really bad news, it's not a great idea to just, to tell everybody what of amazing life that you're having, you know? Yeah, like, guys, this is my first day back at work. My neck, guys, I screwed up my neck, and that car accident now, it's just, I can't even move my neck, guys. I'm stuck like this for the rest of my life. Well, that's really interesting, because you must be a fucking terrible driver, because I literally just bought a brand new fucking car. Okay, I literally just bought a brand new car, and it was actually fully paid for. Yeah, it was fully paid for, because, you know, I got into a little fender bender, and I didn't fucking break my neck. So, like you, fucking pussy. And yeah, it was completely paid for, and they actually gave me more money than it was worth for it. So, yeah. And now I literally own a BMW. So, I don't know why you're complaining, okay? Why couldn't you just be happy for me? All right, I'm the one with the new car. You're the one with the car that's fucking demolished. Okay, you're the one who because they didn't have any CCTV footage, no one fucking believed you that you got T-boned. Okay, even though it was very obvious that you got T-boned. I was the one who T-boned you, and I got the new car. That was me. And I fucked up your neck. And I'm fine. And I got my car is so sick. You should drive around in it with me sometime. It works just fine, just like my fucking neck. So I just seriously don't get the animosity towards me because of this. You know, I feel like we should be bringing people up, not down. That is an insane. If they said that, we should be bringing people up, not down. That is crazy. Meanwhile, Jennifer's over here talking about her dead baby. Do you ever read a room, Jennifer? Read a freaking room. Everyone doesn't want to hear about this sad ass freaking news, okay? Everyone wants to hear about alive babies, not dead ones. Jesus, read the freaking room. All right? It's better to talk about good news than bad news. Jeez, if you're so upset about your baby, why don't you just go home? Try again, maybe. Yeah, that person. Ooh, I feel bad for that baby. That's for sure. Baby might be beautiful, but it's going to have a very shitty life and a very shitty mother. Next one comes from DCPB90. Coworker lost his elderly mom and dad in the same week. One expected soon anyway, one not so expected. Jeez, damn, that's tough. I like how you phrase this. One expected soon anyway. Like anyway, as if it's not still sad. One of them was expected soon, so it didn't fucking matter. It wasn't even fucking traumatizing because we literally knew it was coming. It was like, they're here one day, they're dead the next. I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. I knew it was coming anyway, so it's not like it fucking matters. It's not like anything's fucking changed. Okay, it's not like someone just died. Took a couple weeks off of compassionate leave to organize everything and grieve. The timing was, I have to say something about this too. This sounds so European. Took a couple weeks off compassionate leave to organize everything and grieve. Wow, there you go. You're doing a little rhyme scheme. Death by rhyme. But my rhymes are just too sick. But compassionate leave is such a European way to phrase like death. Taking time off because there's a death, like a death close to you or whatever. Because like here we call it bereavement leave, which makes it sound like it's your problem. You're grieving. We're all working, okay? We're all grinding, okay? We're all putting our fucking nose to the grindstone or whatever, so teeth to the grindstone, okay? I always screw up that phrase. I actually don't know what it is. But we're all here working our butts off, all right? We're all over here making massive corporations money, and what are you doing? What do you think you're doing? You're just, you're shedding a couple tears. You're shedding a couple tears for your mother who just died, who raised you, and you were super close with him, never been closer with anyone else in your entire life. Get over it, dude. Get over it. Mothers die every day, okay? Mums die literally every single day. My mom was a piece of shit, okay? When she died, I didn't give a fuck. Why do you care? Okay? Just, it's like, what's the holdup? Bereavement leave? Jesus, time is ticking, okay? We have money to make for billion-dollar corporations here, okay? We work for a oil company. We have profits to be concerned about. How long are you going to be freaking bereaving for, dude? This is insane. A funeral too? Can't you just like take a day off? It's like, yeah, day off. They're dead. Whatever. Back to work the next day. That's a real worker. Okay, that's somebody who really cares about their job. Is someone who's willing to put, these unfortunate circumstances ahead of them, like just pushing them away. Just have you ever heard about grinding through adversity? Okay, LeBron James. You ever heard of LeBron James? It's like, what the fuck does LeBron have to do with this? Okay, like what? Yeah, sure. LeBron had maybe a very difficult childhood, but he's a professional basketball player. Like what? Like he grinded through some adversity to make it to be a professional NBA player. I don't see the parallel here. My mother just died, okay? I just need some time off to mourn my mother's death. It's clearly you don't give a shit about your job, all right? You're just willing to let that all go to the wayside for your stupid dead mother. But compassionate leave makes it sound like they actually give a shit. Like, oh, we are being compassionate on behalf of you. The timing was horrendous for the team, but these things aren't exactly scheduled, are they? Obviously not. Manager moaned, but it is what it is. Sorry for your loss and let us know if you need anything is the only correct response. On his return, Toxic Manager commented in his first meeting back to work that both parents were going in the same week was convenient because he wouldn't need more time off in the future, leaving us in the shit. What the fuck, man? This is the same manager who a few months later told an employee to maybe give up trying when she took a week off following her third miscarriage. Bro. Give up trying? Come on, dude. What the fuck? This isn't like trying to parallel park. It's not like what? Oh, you didn't make it on your first couple tries. You might as well give up. What? Moaning she had time off for the first two. That's insane. He was let go shortly after because this is just two examples of how toxic he was. Okay, bro, that just begs the question of how toxic he was in between those. Like, what was the daily dose of this fucking guy like? That is crazy to be like, I know how your parents died, but like, you ever want to look at the bright side about how it's good for me? Like, what? How is there any bright side to your parents dying? That doesn't make any sense to me at all. It's like, if you think about it, your parents' death, the loss of the people who raised you and cared for you, nurtured you, and, basically grew you into the person you are today. You ever think maybe that was actually kind of a good thing? You ever think maybe that was actually perfect timing? I know it wasn't maybe great timing for you, but like for me, shit worked out pretty fucking well, so. Next one comes from Fire Lady 1530. One coworker's father had a stroke. This happened on a Thursday when we were pretty busy. Next week, another coworker asked if the father was going to have a stroke every Thursday. Bro, I know fucking people. I've heard shit like this before. That's fucking crazy. As if it was really disruptive to their workflow. Yeah, and then when something happens to them, it's like all they do is complain. Okay, they had a fucking kidney stone, and all they can do is just be like, I just don't understand why there isn't a work benefit for kidney stones. Why am I not getting a raise or a bump in pay or some paid leave at least a month for a kidney stone? It's like, well, maybe because that's like a minor medical condition. It's painful, sure, but it's not life or death, really. It's not something that's gonna, cause you to die. I mean, maybe in serious cases, potentially, but generally speaking, it's extremely painful, yes, but it's not gonna kill you. Whereas on the other hand, I don't know if you know too many things about serious medical conditions, but one thing that will kill you is a fucking stroke. Okay? Lots of people die from a fucking stroke. Okay? What is the mortality rate for strokes? Mortality rate for stroke. Stroke. Let's see. varies, but it's generally high. Generally high. About in their first, people who are having their first stroke, you have about a 20% chance of death. So about 20 to 25% chance of death, I guess even within the first year. That's not great. Okay, that's really not great. It's not setting yourself up or being set up for success. I'm not want to say setting yourself up, because sometimes strokes can be random and completely just uncaused, but I don't think the fact that you got a hangnail is really on the same level. Okay? I know you paid maybe a decent amount for those fake nails, but if you're living in the United States, the bill for your stroke after being in the hospital, I'm going to assume is going to be much higher than that. So, but yeah. It was really disruptive, the fact that your fucking dad had a stroke. Did you know that? Kind of just, we like to get in a groove here at this office. We like to get, in kind of a bit of a, bit of a flow state. And your dad having a stroke really just kind of screwed with that whole vibe. Really just was not the vibe. It was a bit of a downer. On top of the fact that you were out of work, which, now we all had to pick up your slack because your dad couldn't pick up his. Very inconvenient. Just not the vibe, Gerald. Wow. Okay. That's fucking crazy. But there seriously are people like that. Reply from a two-in-one therapist. Reminds me of the time our new VP for our department said, "Wow, that's annoying, huh?" When one of our coworkers' grandmothers passed away and she had to go to her funeral. Some people are just wired incorrectly, I guess. Like, you have never been close to anyone in your life, and you never will be. Like, how is that your response? Being like, well, that's friggin' annoying. Like it's like a mosquito bite or something. Dude, that's really fucking inconvenient. You must be super annoyed, though, at that your grandma died. You must be like, "Oh, Grandma, why did you die? I have to work. I literally have work tomorrow morning." You must be like, probably, right? Because I know I'd be like that. I'd be like, "Oh my God, Mom, why are you dead? I literally do you not know I have to get up at frickin' 7 a.m. tomorrow morning for work? I've got to commute." Okay? It's not an easy thing for me. And now you're making me wake up early, go to hospital, go to the frickin' funeral home, plan a funeral. I have a life. Okay? I have things going on. I literally just leveled up in Valorant, okay? I don't even know if you can do that. I don't know anything about video games, so. My player, I'm just developing my player on 2K. I had a plan tomorrow evening to do this after work, and you're just throwing a wrench into the whole thing. It's like you got no compassion for me. Couldn't you held it off? Couldn't you just pushed it back a couple of days? Maybe on the weekend. Next one comes from Butcher Baby. Jesus, okay. I hope. All right. What an interesting name. I worked in corporate marketing / sales. We worked on commission based on marketing campaigns that we created. Last year, we got a new boss who decided to restructure our commission, effectively cutting our pay by about 25 to 30%. Damn. Morale became quite low, understandably. A month after this happened, she called us into a meeting and then showed us a chart for the past year where we had almost tripled profits for the company. Wow. This was met with stunned silence. "Hey guys," she said, "where's the enthusiasm? Aren't you guys happy with these numbers?" Flat, tone-deaf silence. The outrage was palpable. I wanted to say something, as I'm sure the others did, but I didn't. I just found a different job a few months later. Yeah, I think that office, that marketing firm, is going to become pretty thin, in the employment area there. How can you guys not be happy about all the money you're making for the CEO? Okay, the CEO is literally just bought a new freaking yacht, and you guys are not pumped for him. Okay, like he was able to purchase a home in Cabo, all right, and you're not even the least bit excited for this guy? This is his third home. And you're not even going to show a little bit of enthusiasm for him? Do you know how much you had to grind to get him that? And you're not even happy about it? This is just disgraceful. I cannot believe we are in such an ungrateful office. It's like you don't even care about the board of directors, okay? It's like you don't even care about the company executives. It's just, this is mind-boggling to me. Yeah, we had to cut your pay because we had to make you guys work more. Who do you think that pay went to? Who do you think that pay went to? Yeah, the guy up top. He had to fucking finance his new yacht. I don't see what you're so upset about. He has to diversify his passive income, right? And so he needs investment money. All right, this is hedge funds. This is how this stuff works, people. It's like, this isn't resonating with me. I don't know if you're trying to be like giving a very motivational speech right now, but this really isn't hitting home quite, for me. I can't say this is really being motivational for me to, get up and work hard and harder and harder, because, it's hard work pays off. That's the saying, right? For the CEO, really, that's who the hard work pays off for. Hard work pays off for the person, the guy in charge, right? That's sounds like this is a great deal for the person who does no work. Oh man. Next one comes from Seated Wallfly. At the first department meeting following my mother's death, our boss read through the minutes from last meeting. Then she paused and added, "Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Lisa's mom died last week. Okay, first agenda item. Why was that in your agenda?" Why was that? Why did you write that down in last week's meeting? Why is that significant? That is something that doesn't need to be spoken about, like, at all. Like, there's no need to, and if you're going to, you can do it in private, number one. Or I'm sure there's probably, just when you get onto the meeting, maybe a quick thing being like, we all want to give our condolences, give our best wishes to you and your family. We hope everything is doing okay. You don't even have to mention the death. You just got to say that, just a little, a little recognition. But that was not what that was. That was more of a, oh yeah, and Lisa's mom fucking died, so that little bit, productivity numbers were down, as I just wanted to note that. Productivity numbers were down, and also, coincidentally, Lisa's mom fucking died, so, wonder how that's connected at all, maybe there. Wonder how those things are intertwined. Maybe we should think about that next time we're trying to, talking about productivity next meeting. So maybe we could all just stew on that for a little bit, okay? Now for this week, pay cuts. Next one comes from Repulsive Drawing 703. That was an evil laugh. I'm just kidding. I started my career with a guy at a federal agency and worked with a guy who was extremely troubled. I started my career at a federal agency and worked with a guy who was extremely troubled and just weird as shit in general. He did all kinds of crazy stuff, but the thing that kind of shook the whole office was an email he sent out one morning. He was evidently dating another employee in a different division of the agency, and they broke up, so he sent out this email to like 200 coworkers with the subject line, "Please respect our privacy." Damn, bro. His bro is doing way too much on this. Just in case you didn't know something, which you probably didn't know, now I'm going to let you know. He then rattled off like 3 pages of narrative explaining every detail of his relationship with this woman who broke up with him, and it concluded with, "So we will no longer be getting married." You guys dated for like 6 months, okay? This was not... She was bored. All right, you were the rebound, bro. Like, this was not, she just broke up with a fiance like a year ago. You were the rebound, my dog. So just so you know, she is not my forever lady. She's not my bubby wubby gubby wubby. Okay? And that is just that is a name that I'll never share again with anybody else because you decided to go ahead and break up with me. So have fun. Who's going to massage your feet now? I will never forget the morning that the email went out and the whole office went silent for like 5 minutes. No typing, no phone calls, no small talks. Just a bunch of people trying to wrap their heads around what they just read. This guy wrote a manifesto. Nobody even knew they were dating. Nobody even knew they were dating. Like, what is the psychology behind this? Nobody cared if they broke up. It was not ever going to become a topic of office conversation until he brought it up to everyone's attention in the weirdest way possible. Yeah, maybe have you ever thought about confiding in a close friend instead of maybe announcing it to everyone you know? Like, what is like childhood friends are CC'd on this email? Then to make it worse, the woman found out and was like married. We went out 5 times. Bro, so it wasn't even 6 months. It was probably like 2 months, 3 months. So somehow this guy thought casual dating was a guaranteed path to marriage. And he had to announce to everybody that the marriage was off. So fucking weird. Dude, that is crazy, bro. That is delusional ass behavior. Yeah, okay. After that second date, after we got ice cream, I really thought we had something. I really thought that this was going to be our end-all, be-all. And I was actually thinking that night of proposing. But you shut me down. You didn't even allow me to propose. Okay? I tried to get on one knee on our last date. And you told me to get up right away. And that this is something we shouldn't be doing right now. So I tried again. And still... I tried to propose over text because I thought maybe you wanted a little bit of space. Okay, maybe you needed some time to process yourself, but apparently that didn't work either. So, yeah, expect a lot of emails coming from me, okay? Expect a lot of internal emails coming from me to you every day now. Because I just want to remind you what you could have had. Okay? Who's going to wash your dog's paws? It's like, I didn't even know you were doing that. Why were you doing that? You came over to my house once. Like, why were you washing my dog's paws? When did you have time to do that? Why were you touching my dog like that? I don't want you to touch my dog like that. That's really weird. And my dog is very sensitive. I don't like that at all. That's very strange. Bro is just living in a fantasy world. He created this whole narrative. This whole story is like, yeah. And then I, that time when you left your shoe at my house and I trekked like 30 miles to come and give it back to you. It's like, that never happened. Why would that ever happen? That doesn't make any sense at all. You think I'm gonna take an Uber with one shoe on and just be like, nah, we're good. This is chill. This is fine. It didn't happen. What do you think? This is not literally a Cinderella story. You're trying to make this a Cinderella story. That did not happen. That is a complete lie. All right, folks, we're going to read off maybe one more here. Last one comes from I See Something. I worked at a restaurant in the late 90s. There was this asshole cook who always told the female servers how much he liked tacos. He finally got fired when one of the servers got her braces off and everyone in the back of the restaurant was complimenting her smile. He responds with, "I'd like to see your other smile." He was 28. She was 17. That's fucked. Wow. He just looked at everyone and he was like, he was funny. Since it was a Friday night, he was fired later that evening after the dinner rush. I love how they used him and then they were like, well, since you serve now, no more use to us. You're fucking fired. That is crazy. Well, I don't fully understand what this means though. I'd like to see your other smile. What other smile? I don't know what. I feel like this is going way over my head. Is this like a common phrase or a common thing people say? Like, what is your other smile? I'm assuming it's something. I mean, it's got to be something sexual, but like, other smile. Where is it coming from? I don't know if I quite understand that innuendo. I don't know if that one's really hitting home for me, which makes it, I feel like, even creepier because he's like trying to force something that's like not, Like, on top of being really creepy, he's, like, trying to come up with his own, like, well, I'd like to see your, like, other friggin' smile if you know what I'm talking about. If everyone knows what I'm talking about. Or, like, it's like, no, what are you trying to get at? Or, like, you know, down there. Like, that smile. We're trying to, like, you know, if I, like, bang, boned her. Right in front of everybody, maybe. Boned her. It's like, dude, she is a minor. Bro. Like, what? Like, she is a literal minor, dude. You were a millennial, okay? Like, what the fuck? That's, oh my God. How he thought he was so cool. He's definitely looking for a dap after that one. He's like, am I right? Someone? Anyone? Come on. That was so good, bro. Dude, how am I supposed to take her home after this, guys? You gotta freaking dap me up for this, bro. No one? Okay, fine. I guess I'm gonna have to self-dap. Yeah, okay. You're also gonna be very soon self-employed because you are fired. Oh, geez. Okay, folks, we're gonna wrap it up there. Thank you all so much for tuning in to another episode of the Red SS Podcast. I love each and every single one of you. Peace out, love you. Goodbye.